So this is just taking a peek at this chart of the full moon in September of 2023. I'm just going to pull out what I think are the significant highlights of this one. We can see the moon and the sun across from each other at 6 degrees of Aries. This happened around 2:30-ish a.m. Pacific time this morning. So the moon has moved past this already. The moon's hanging out here right now, applying to Chiron, but the early wee hours of the morning, 12 hours ago, she was here at 6 degrees Aries, which put her in direct opposition to the sun at 6 degrees of Libra. So that's where it is. We can even learn from that 6 degrees, right? We can think about what is the story from when I was 6 years old, from when I was 35, 36 years old. What are those stories? Especially a story from 6 years old, formative stories around how I assert myself. There's a couple of asteroids playing important roles here. This is Pallas Athena, the warrior goddess, and she is conjunct the sun right now. So she's opposing the moon. So I think it's interesting that people are bringing up ideas of self-defense versus defensiveness. And I think that's kind of in the air with Pallas Athena being in there. Pallas is a strategist, and she's really great with pattern recognition. And remember mythologically that her role was to mentor warriors. So that strategic mind as applied to battle strategy, that's what she does. It's that very removed intellectual, you know, the scenes from the old movies when they have the map spread out on the table and they're moving the little things around like it's a game. That big picture, how are we going to strategize? How are we going to win? And that she's with the sun, so she's with our aspirations and our shining self, but she's being opposed by the moon, which kind of begins to tell a story of weighing our emotions against our strategic mind, or perhaps how do we get the two to work together? How are we able to make plans strategically to protect ourselves, protect our assets, protect our relationships in a way that's non-defensive, and in a way that honors our own bright, playful, and childlike feeling heart. So I also feel like with that 6 degree Aries moon, and I'm seeing this in the world around me, there's a playfulness there too, right? Aries, along with Gemini, are probably the most kindly, we could say youthful, not so kindly, we could say childish. I can say that because I'm a Gemini. The childlike signs of the zodiac, Aries and Gemini. There's so many positives to that, right? There's vibrancy and youthful energy and a willingness to keep changing. But the playful aspect of that, that's what I'm getting to. I really feel like there's this beautiful childlike playful aspect to this moon. There's a lot of serious transits going on right now. There's serious stuff pulled into this moon. There's Chiron, there's Mars on the South Node. There's serious things happening in people's lives. There's probably serious things happening in your life right now. But there's this element of play and creativity that if we can weave that in, is going to take some of the pressure off the big decisions that we have to make, the things that we're trying to strategize about, that we feel a lot of pressure, not only for ourselves, but in our relationships. There's so much going on that I think having an outlet for creative play is an important part of how to deal with these energies. And I think it's going to be a key to navigating this entire eclipse season for the next month, because one of the other things this moon does is to usher in eclipse. It's not an eclipsed moon, but we're getting darn close to those nodes. It's almost an eclipsed moon, and the next one will be, and the one after that, the next two lunations. So we're very close to eclipse season. We can know this because of the proximity of the moon to the nodal axis. That's what triggers eclipses. So on a more serious note, the sign of Aries is ruled by Mars. So we look to the situation of Mars whenever we're looking to a placement in Aries. And this Mars is not in his favorite sign, right? He rules Aries, so he's in what we call detriment in the sign of Libra. It's like somebody who's not at home, Like you're staying in an Airbnb and you don't know how anything works, and you don't have all the stuff that you have at home, and you just don't have the power that you have at home, and it can be frustrating. It's a planet in detriment. They have to work a little harder to achieve what they want to achieve. So we have a Mars in detriment, and he's applying to the South Node. So Mars, our action, our activity, our assertion, our drive, our life force, our need to separate, The South Node is the node of releasing. The South Node is the entry point into the other world. The South Node is where we make offerings. The South Node is ultimately where we will release our body. The South Node is the entry into the invisible. The South Node releases. It's a cosmic compost. So here comes our drive, our habitual ways of protecting ourselves. We just right there about to run smack into the South Node and have to give something up. So it really is time to think about, what do I need to release from my life in order to assert myself better? I think it's that simple. And in the process, we need to be protecting our feeling heart. If you have a lot going on in your own life around this moon, it's going to help you to look back to these 2 dates. Looking back all the way back 18 months to April of 2021, there was a new moon in Aries, right around 6, 7, 8 degrees of Aries. And that was the inception of what's happening now. So if there's a big deal going on for you right now, look back to April of 2021, it's going to give you some insight. And you can also look to July of 2022, because whatever that was that began in April of 21 and is culminating now, that reached a really critical turning point in July of 2022. Where am I getting those dates? This is the longer lunar gestational cycle. I teach a workshop about this occasionally. If you're on my mailing list, I'll let you know. It's a really great, really simple predictive tool. But look back to those dates. Before I do that, I just want to tell you, I know some of you have taken this program, The Light of the Moon. It's my signature program that I wrote several years ago. And it takes you through the entire journey of one lunar month, as far as the moon phases go. It's a journey in real time with the goal of helping you to embody the beauty of the changing moon and help you to align your life with the lunar phases. It's going to give you tools for life.